In the coming years, the world may face the largest technological revolution since the arrival of smartphones. And while just a few years ago, humanoid robots seemed like something distant, experimental, and accessible only to the largest corporations or military laboratories, the situation is now changing literally before our eyes. More and more analysts, engineers, and even former employees of the biggest technology companies are saying that the mass market for humanoid robots is practically ready. And this is not about a few expensive models for wealthy people, but about millions of robots of many different categories that ordinary families will be able to afford. Home assistants, industrial workers, companion robots, caregivers, security robots, couriers, business assistants, robots for stores, restaurants, hotels, and even for intellectual professions. All of this is now being actively prepared for market release. And the most interesting part is that, according to several Western publications, the world's largest technology companies have already begun discussing not the very existence of such robots, but exactly how the process of mass selling them to people will look. This is where Apple suddenly found itself at the center of attention. Although the company officially comments on its projects very cautiously, over the past few months several authoritative sources have reported that active work is indeed underway inside the corporation on several humanoid robot directions at once. Moreover, according to insiders, Apple sees robots not as a separate experiment, but as an entirely new category of devices that could eventually become even more important than the iPhone. And if the leaks are to be believed, the company is already discussing concepts for home assistant robots, companion robots, intelligent office assistants, industrial logistics models, and even specialized humanoid platforms for healthcare and elderly care. Some employees allegedly call this the next Apple ecosystem, where the robot becomes as common a device as a smartphone or laptop. Apple's main advantage over competitors right now is not artificial intelligence technology at all. Many experts are convinced that the company possesses a far more powerful weapon: its enormous global network of branded stores. According to analysts, this could completely reshape the robot market. While other companies may be forced to sell their humanoids online or through rare demonstration centers, Apple could potentially transform every one of its stores into a true center of interaction between humans and AI robots. According to several technology bloggers familiar with internal discussions, company leadership is considering making the process of buying a robot as simple as purchasing an iPhone or MacBook today. And this could become the decisive factor that allows Apple to begin mass deployment of humanoids faster than anyone else. Imagine a massive Apple flagship store of the future somewhere in New York, Tokyo, Dubai, Shanghai, or London. From the outside, everything looks familiar. Glass minimalist design, a huge company logo, bright lighting, hundreds of visitors. But inside, the store is completely different. Instead of tables filled with phones, there are enormous demonstration areas where humanoid robots move around freely. One robot helps visitors navigate the store, another interacts with children, a third demonstrates home cleaning capabilities, a fourth prepares coffee or sorts groceries. In a separate area, industrial models are showcased that can carry heavy loads, work in warehouses, and even perform complex manufacturing tasks. Nearby are companion robots capable of holding conversations, reading news, helping with schedules, monitoring the owner's health, and even synchronizing with smart home devices. According to insiders, Apple wants to turn its stores not simply into places of sale, but into real-world testing grounds for robots. A potential buyer will be able to come with their entire family and literally spend several hours interacting with a humanoid. The robot will be able to give tours around the store, answer questions, execute commands, help carry purchases, prepare food in a demonstration kitchen, play with children, or even accompany the client throughout the shopping mall. And only after that will the person make a purchase decision. Some analysts are already calling this a revolution of trust, because the biggest fear most people have today is uncertainty. People do not understand how a robot will behave at home. That is why companies want to give customers the opportunity to essentially live alongside a robot for at least a few hours before buying one. Interestingly, according to several journalists, Apple is even discussing a system of personal robot adaptation directly inside the store. After the purchase, a person will be able to activate their humanoid assistant on site. The robot will synchronize with the owner's account, learn their voice, habits, and schedule, connect to smart home devices, and within just a few minutes become a full-fledged digital assistant for the family. Moreover, according to rumors, the company is considering an option where the robot, after activation, will be able to walk out together with its owner on its own. This exact moment is now being actively discussed on social networks and technology forums. People are literally fascinated by the idea that in the near future, a person could walk out of a store together with their own humanoid robot, as naturally as people today walk out carrying a new iPhone in a bag. But the most important question concerns price. Price will determine how quickly robots spread across the world. And here insiders speak of a very interesting strategy. According to preliminary information, companies plan to divide the market into several categories. The simplest home assistant robots could cost between $5,000 and $10,000. These would be relatively compact models designed for cleaning, basic household assistance, object delivery, security monitoring, and smart home interaction. More advanced humanoid companions with sophisticated artificial intelligence, full communication abilities, and learning capabilities could cost between $15,000 and $25,000. And professional versions for business, medicine, or engineering tasks could be priced at $50,000 to $100,000 or more. At the same time, companies fully understand that not every person will be able to immediately buy such a robot. That is why, according to analysts, subscription and financing programs are now being actively discussed. Some technology experts suggest that robots may be sold almost like automobiles. A buyer could arrange installment payments over several years, while the monthly payment would be comparable to payments for a car or an expensive smartphone. Moreover, some companies are considering robot rental subscriptions. For example, a person could pay $200 to $500 per month and receive a home assistant with regular software updates and technical maintenance. Special attention is currently being devoted to service infrastructure. And here, Apple once again gains a huge advantage thanks to its stores and service centers. According to sources, the company is considering the idea of creating special robotic service zones inside Apple stores. Customers would be able to bring in a damaged robot, replace broken parts, update software, or perform full diagnostics. Moreover, many procedures could reportedly be completed within just a few hours. Some insiders even claim that the company is testing the concept of automated repair capsules, where the robot would independently undergo diagnostics without human involvement. In addition, the possibility of mobile home repair teams is being discussed. If a robot stops functioning or becomes damaged, the owner could call engineers through an application. A specialized team would arrive at the home and perform repairs directly on site. Analysts believe that exactly this kind of infrastructure will become a mandatory part of the future humanoid robot market. People must understand that a robot is not a disposable device, but a full-fledged piece of technology with support and service. A separate issue is safety and regulation, and here the situation is far more complicated than with smartphones or electric vehicles. Already now, future laws for humanoid robots are being actively discussed in the United States, Europe, and Asia. Regulators are trying to understand how to certify robots, what restrictions to introduce, who will bear responsibility for the actions of AI, and how to protect people from possible system errors. According to several Western publications, companies are already holding closed consultations with governments from different countries. Discussions include rules for robot behavior in public spaces, safety standards, emergency shutdown systems, and even mandatory insurance. Some analysts suggest that the first mass-market humanoids will receive strict software restrictions. For example, a robot may not be able to harm a human, use dangerous objects without owner confirmation, or leave a certain area without permission. Moreover, the industry is actively discussing the idea of digital identifiers. Every robot would have a unique number, a remote monitoring system, and the ability to be emergency blocked in dangerous situations. Essentially, this would be a combination of a smartphone, a car, and complex industrial equipment at the same time. But despite the concerns, demand for robots could turn out to be enormous. According to forecasts from some investment funds, the humanoid market could grow into a multi-trillion-dollar industry within the next 10 years. The reason is simple. Robots will be able to perform a huge number of tasks that people spend hours on every day. Home cleaning, food preparation, childcare and elderly care, warehouse work, goods delivery, retail assistance, hotel service, restaurant work. All of this represents an enormous market. The companion robot market could become especially interesting. Analysts are already recording rising loneliness in developed countries. Millions of people live alone, experience a lack of communication, and need constant support. That is why many companies are betting on humanoids capable of maintaining conversations, recognizing emotions, and becoming part of a person's everyday life. Some experts are convinced that this category of robots will become the most widespread. Another separate direction is the corporate sector. Large companies are already closely watching the development of humanoids. Warehouses, factories, logistics centers, and retail chains are experiencing worker shortages. Robots could solve this problem, and while many industrial robots today are limited to fixed tasks, humanoids will be able to operate within existing infrastructure, originally designed for humans. They will be able to open doors, use ordinary tools, ride elevators, work with equipment, and interact with people without requiring a complete restructuring of enterprises. That is why some analysts believe that in the coming years, the world will witness a true humanoid race. Tesla is actively developing Optimus. OpenAI is investing in next-generation AI systems. Google is strengthening its work in Gemini and robotics. And Apple, according to insiders, is trying to combine all of this into the most user-friendly form possible for the mass market. The most interesting part is that many experts compare the current moment to the beginning of the smartphone era. Back then, many people also did not believe that expensive touchscreen devices would ever become mainstream. But only a few years passed, and smartphones appeared in the hands of practically every person on the planet. Now something similar may happen with humanoid robots. At first they will be expensive and rare, then they will begin to become cheaper, and after that they may turn into a normal part of everyday life. Some insiders claim that inside technology companies' scenarios are already being discussed in which, within 10 years, families in developed countries may own one or even several robots. One robot will help around the house, another will work as a remote office assistant, a third will monitor security or care for elderly relatives. And if this truly happens, humanity will enter a completely new era where the boundary between digital intelligence and the physical world practically disappears. Right now, all of this sounds like science fiction, but not long ago, electric vehicles, AI video generators, conversational neural networks, and self-driving cars also sounded like science fiction. And today, all of this already exists. That is why many analysts are convinced that the era of mass-market humanoid robots is no longer a question of the distant future. It is beginning right now. And the more information emerges about the plans of the world's largest technology companies, the stronger the feeling becomes that the humanoid robot industry is preparing not simply for the launch of a new product, but for a complete transformation of everyday human life. According to analysts from Morgan Stanley and several former employees of major IT corporations, the industry is currently discussing a scenario in which robots become as essential a part of the home as refrigerators, televisions, or smartphones. And this is not only about wealthy countries. Manufacturers already understand that real success will come only when robots become mainstream worldwide. That is why enormous attention is now being devoted to reducing production costs. Insiders claim that companies are actively working on creating unified platforms where the same robot can be assembled from standardized components like a car on an assembly line. This would allow millions of units to be produced annually and sharply reduce prices. According to preliminary estimates, the first truly mass-market humanoid models could begin production in quantities of hundreds of thousands within the next few years, and afterward, volumes could rise into the millions. Moreover, some sources claim that Apple is closely studying the experience of the automotive industry and Tesla's logistics systems. The company understands that creating a good robot alone is not enough. It is necessary to build an enormous global infrastructure for delivery, repair, updates, and maintenance. That is why special next-generation robotic warehouses are now reportedly being discussed, where humanoids will be stored, undergo final calibration, and then be shipped to stores around the world. Interestingly, according to several technology commentators, Apple may use its own unique delivery system for robots. The idea reportedly involves special sealed transport capsules, inside which the robot would remain in standby mode. During transportation, the AI would be deactivated and the main systems fixed in place to minimize the risk of damage. After arriving at the store, the capsule would automatically open in a service area where engineers would conduct final checks and activate the system. Some insiders claim that the company is even testing scenarios in which the robot would independently exit the transport container and undergo diagnostics without employee involvement. Special attention is now being focused on how humanoid sections inside Apple stores will actually look. According to sources close to the discussions, the company wants to transform these areas into something between an exhibition of future technologies and a real living space. Visitors would see robots not standing on platforms, but operating in conditions as close to real life as possible. In one part of the store, there would be a full kitchen where a humanoid prepares food, washes dishes, and sorts groceries. In another, there would be a living room where the robot assists a family, turns on movies, plays with children, and manages the smart home. In a third zone, there would be an office of the future, where an AI assistant helps analyze documents, conduct negotiations, and manage schedules. Some analysts believe that exactly this kind of demonstration will become the company's main weapon. People need to see not simply a metal machine, but understand how a robot could become part of their lives. That is why Apple allegedly wants to focus heavily on the emotional connection between humans and humanoids. Sources claim that the company is actively testing systems involving robot behavior, facial expressions, voice, and even micro-emotions. The humanoid must appear friendly, calm, and natural. Inside the industry, there is a clear understanding that the main barrier to mass adoption is psychological. People must stop being afraid of robots. That is why many engineers are currently working to ensure that humanoids move as smoothly and naturally as possible. According to insiders, Apple is allegedly studying the behavior of its own store employees, how they smile, how they present products, and how they help customers. All of this could later be used to train robots. Moreover, some sources claim that the company is testing a special Apple Presence mode, in which a humanoid would behave as calmly and carefully as Apple Store employees do today. Another topic is the appearance of the robots. According to analysts, the industry is gradually reaching the conclusion that people do not want to see overly cold machines around them. That is why most companies are now focusing on a soft, minimalist design. White bodies, smooth lines, calm lighting, precise movements, and minimal motor noise. Some leaks claim that Apple is considering several designs at once, ranging from almost fully mechanical models to humanoids with a synthetic coating resembling skin. Inside the company, there are reportedly serious debates about how human-like such devices should be. Interestingly, alongside this, a completely new market for robot accessories is being actively discussed. Analysts believe that if humanoids truly become mass-market products, an entire industry will emerge around them. Robot clothing, special charging stations, furniture adapted for AI assistants, new types of household appliances, maintenance tools, software subscriptions, and even personalization of robot appearance. Some experts already compare this to the smartphone market, which generated billions of dollars in additional businesses around the core product. Moreover, companies aim to earn not only from selling the robots themselves. According to insiders, subscriptions for artificial intelligence will play a major role. Basic functions may be available immediately after purchase, but more advanced capabilities, such as professional skills, language packs, medical functions, or advanced operational modes, will be unlocked through monthly subscriptions. Some analysts believe this will become one of the most profitable segments of the entire industry. For example, a robot may have a standard home mode, but the user could additionally activate a chef mode, a tutor mode, a fitness trainer mode, or even a business analyst mode. The AI will be continuously updated through the cloud, becoming smarter and acquiring new skills almost every week. In essence, the robot will become a physical embodiment of artificial intelligence that constantly evolves. But at the same time, concerns are also growing. More and more experts are questioning how safe the mass deployment of humanoids will be, especially after the rapid development of neural networks. Some specialists believe that humanity may not be ready for such a rapid technological leap. Governments around the world are already forming special working groups to regulate AI and robotics. Laws, restrictions, and international agreements are being discussed. According to several American publications, some politicians are calling for mandatory licensing of humanoids. For example, robots capable of lifting heavy objects or working with tools may be subject to restrictions similar to vehicle licensing categories. Others propose mandatory remote shutdown systems and continuous activity monitoring. Some experts even discuss the possibility of a digital police for robots, specialized agencies that would oversee compliance with AI operational rules. However, companies are trying to reassure the public. Industry representatives insist that modern safety systems are already highly advanced. Robots will be able to instantly detect human presence, avoid collisions, limit force output, and automatically shut down in case of malfunction. According to engineers, humanoids will be far safer than most household devices used today. Still, the main reason why major corporations are investing so heavily in humanoids lies elsewhere: the economy. Many countries are already facing labor shortages. Populations are aging, younger generations are shrinking, and demand for services and production continues to grow. Robots may become the solution to this problem. That is why, according to rumors, some governments are already considering subsidizing the purchase of humanoids for businesses and healthcare. A particularly important area may be elderly care. In Japan, South Korea, Europe, and the United States, millions of people require constant assistance. At the same time, there is a severe shortage of workers in this sector. Humanoid robots could help lift patients, deliver medication, monitor health conditions, call doctors, and provide companionship. Some analysts believe that this market alone could become one of the largest in the coming years. And if even a fraction of these forecasts turns out to be true, humanity is indeed standing on the threshold of a new era. An era in which artificial intelligence will no longer exist only inside smartphone and computer screens. It will have a body. It will be able to walk alongside humans, assist them, work with them, and gradually become part of the daily lives of billions of people. And perhaps right now, while most people still perceive it as science fiction, the world's largest companies are already building the infrastructure for the moment when the first mass wave of humanoid robots steps out of stores and onto the streets of cities.